This is what I will say that I've learned about hiring a lot, because I've had to hire a lot kind of quickly, is number one is that training is one of the most critical parts of your business. We overlook it. We will get lucky. We will get some people that are just kind of inherently great. But training is as important as payroll. It is as important as insurance contracts. It is one of the most critical parts of a business. And I think that all of us get a little blindsided by that, assuming more competence than maybe is there. The next thing is on applicants. I think that all of us as a field, I feel like there was an era in ABA where we were growing faster than we really could handle. And as a result, a lot of companies were hiring anyone with a heartbeat. And I think maybe many companies are still doing this. And I don't think that they realize how damaging this is, because I have interviewed so many people with 5, 6, 10 years of experience in ABA who have never done ABA, no, especially if they're coming from a large company. And one of the things that I have learned to be a cold hard truth is that no experience in this field is far better than experience with a large company. It is amazing. They will come in and request extremely high pay rates and then have no idea how to interact with a kid, what reinforcer is, what a discrete trial is, what prompting is, with 10 years of experience. So with hiring, I mentioned being overstaffed. I will also say training, again, needs way more attention than I think that we typically give it. Training particularly to your brand of ABA, how you do it. That's the part where we can't really rely on generic white book types of approaches to training, because in the day-to-day, it's going to be how how Robin runs it or how Mallory or Jennifer runs it. And you have to have a good system for that. And with applicants, again, be picky. Even if you're desperate, still be very, very picky, and do not be fooled by someone's experience. Again, all of my best therapists had no experience in ABA. The worst employees had a ton of experience at CAR. Or I won't say any more names, but at those companies where I'm like, yikes. So when I see those on resumes, you're saving yourself a lot of headaches, and you might be helping the field by being very picky and very cautious of large companies and being a bit more open-minded to a lack of experience, because they really can be amazing applicants.
I think
that's all I wanted to add.
I think to that point, Deric, we did. That's exactly. I would see resumes and I'm like, oh, this company, and I'm like, all they're saving me is you have to go through the RBT program, exactly. Right? That's all that's saving me, right? Yeah. But what we've started doing, we implemented this maybe about a year ago, because we were having the same issue, is we started taking our skill shapers that we work with all of our staff with, and if they came in with experience and they have whatever they're already in RBT, they have to do a working interview. So they do the panel interview with us, and then they have to do an hour of a working interview where one of our BCBAs is literally going through this task list that we've put together, like what we want them to see or what they should at the very least be able to do. If they're an RBT, prompting, reinforcement, some maybe data collection, chaining, anything like that. And then we make and we build their training packet. If a job gets extended to them, we build their training around how they scored on that. And we share the results with them. That also helps us with compensation, because like you said, they want to come in and ask for this exorbitant amount of money. And I'm like, show me you can do this first. Yeah. And when we show them things, they're kind of like, and I'm like, listen, if it's money that you want, I can't pay you that, and I won't pay you that. And I understand you need to maybe go somewhere else. I totally get that. But if you're going to come work here, this is where we're at, and this is where we're going to start you. Now, we're going to give you the path to grow, but you're going to prove it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I am 100% on board with that. Do not hire even if you're stressed and panicked. Because it will cost you more time, money, and energy and damage to your current team, to the kids, if you are hiring out of panicness and you just take everybody with a heartbeat that says they're an RBT or have experience.
Yeah, and the general tone, Indeed is a great tool. Indeed can be really, really great, but it does kind of turn into a Tinder for employers, right? Where all people are looking at is, how tall are you? I'm sorry, you don't want to base a marriage on someone's height or their hair color. You don't want to base your job, where you're going to be going 40 hours a week, based on an hourly rate or a benefits package. I'm sorry, the people who are offering really high rates and benefits package, there's typically a reason that they're having to compensate for. And small companies that really focus on quality, we don't have those resources. but we also don't need to because the job is not terrible like it might be elsewhere. And so, but you have to realize when you're dealing with like Indeed or Glassdoor, these people are swiping right or left. Are you 6 foot or not? Because that's what's going to give me the best future of my life, is the height of someone. And I try to explain to people hourly rate is one of the least important details of a job. I know it matters, but I'm sorry, if you're going to work every day and you're making 50 cents more an hour and you're getting chairs bashed over your head and you're alone, I don't think anyone cares about that extra $12 a month that they might be making there. And so when you're dealing with applicants, know that they're going through this with a very Tinder-esque viewpoint, and you kind of, in your interviews, have to break that down a little bit and educate them a little bit on just the general job market. So I could talk about this forever. I'm sure we all can, because it's a huge issue.
I think it's really hard because
what we do offer as like a smaller business and a family-owned business, a BCBA-owned business versus like maybe in contrast to where they came from, and we can ask them maybe, what were their pros and cons of their last position if they were in RBT. And some will say they weren't supported, or some will say that their BCBA was never there physically in person, or all sorts of things, or they weren't, or they just weren't fully trained. I mean, we have now got like someone that handles all the clinical staff training, so she will, she'll do a preemptive competency to assess where the potential new hire is at, and then we can decide if we're going to hire them. If we proceed with hiring them, then we would tailor their training to either the no experience option or tailoring it to an experienced option, but focus on the areas that they lacked in the competency and get them up to speed there.